242 people boarded a plane to London. Only one walked away alive. This happened 3 days ago, and the story will give you chills. Hey everyone, I'm still shaking as I record this video. On June 12, 2025, Air India Flight 171 took off from Ahmedabad, heading to London Gatwick. It was supposed to be a routine 8-hour flight. Instead, it became one of the deadliest aviation disasters in recent history. What happened in those first few minutes after takeoff has left investigators scrambling for answers. And the sole survivor? They're now carrying the weight of 241 lost lives. And if you're new here, subscribe because I cover real stories that matter. Let me paint you a picture. It's a Tuesday morning in Ahmedabad. People are rushing through the airport with their coffee and boarding passes. Some are business travelers with their laptops, others are families excited about their London vacation. The aircraft was a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, 12 years old. This isn't some ancient plane. The 787 is actually considered one of the safest aircraft in the sky. The registration was VNB, and it had flown thousands of hours without major incidents. Inside that plane were 242 souls. A mom probably texted her kids, "Taking off now, love you." A businessman might have been reviewing his presentation one last time. A student was probably excited about starting university in London. These weren't just numbers on a passenger manifest. These were real people with real dreams, heading toward what they thought would be the next chapter of their lives. Takeoff seemed normal. The plane lifted off the runway, and for a brief moment, everything was fine. Passengers probably looked out their windows, watching Ahmedabad shrink below them. But then something went catastrophically wrong. The aircraft couldn't maintain its climb. Instead of soaring toward London, it came crashing back down into the city it had just left. The plane slammed into a hostile area near the airport, destroying buildings and starting massive fires. Emergency services rushed to the scene within minutes, but what they found was complete devastation. The impact was so severe that the aircraft was almost completely destroyed. Fires raged through the wreckage, and rescue workers could barely get close enough to search for survivors. I've seen photos from the crash site, and honestly, they're too graphic to show you. The destruction was total. How anyone survived this is nothing short of a miracle. But someone did survive. One person, sitting in seat 11A, somehow walked away from what witnesses described as an inferno. Local police confirmed that this passenger was found alive, though they haven't released their identity for privacy reasons. Think about this for a moment. In a crash that killed 241 people, one person survived. The odds of that are astronomical. This survivor is now the only person who can tell us what those final moments were like inside Flight 171. Did the pilots make any announcements? Were passengers aware something was wrong? Did anyone have time to say goodbye? These are questions only the survivor can answer, and their testimony could be crucial for investigators. But imagine the psychological burden this person is carrying. Survivor's guilt is real, and it's devastating. Why did they live when everyone else died? That's a question that might haunt them forever. Within hours, investigation teams flooded the crash site. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau took charge, with assistance from the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board. This collaboration is standard procedure when Boeing aircraft are involved. The first major breakthrough came just 28 hours after the crash when investigators recovered the flight data recorder, the famous black box. This device records everything that happens during a flight. Pilot conversations, system warnings, flight parameters, emergency procedures, it's all there. If there was a mechanical failure, the black box will reveal it. If the pilots made an error, it's recorded. If they were dealing with some kind of emergency, we'll know exactly what happened. But aviation investigations take time. Investigators have to examine every piece of wreckage, interview witnesses, analyze weather conditions, and review the pilot's training records. They can't rush this process because families deserve accurate answers. This crash ranks among the deadliest aviation disasters since 2014, when Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 was shot down over Ukraine, killing 298 people. But statistics don't capture the human tragedy here. 241 families lost someone that day. Children lost parents. Parents lost children. Spouses became widows. Best friends said goodbye forever without knowing it would be their last conversation. Air India released a statement mourning the tragic loss. But what do you say to families whose loved ones left for London and never came home? How do you comfort someone whose entire world just collapsed? The crash also claimed lives on the ground. When an aircraft hits a populated area, the tragedy extends beyond the passengers. Innocent people in those hostile buildings also became victims of this disaster. Flying is still statistically the safest way to travel. You're more likely to win the lottery than die in a plane crash. But disasters like Flight 171 remind us that aviation safety requires constant vigilance. Every crash teaches the industry something new. The investigation findings will likely lead to safety improvements that could prevent similar accidents in the future. It's tragic that progress often comes at such a high cost, but that's how the aviation industry evolves. For now, investigators are working around the clock to understand what went wrong. Boeing will likely face scrutiny about the 787 safety systems. Air India will review their maintenance procedures. New safety protocols might be implemented. As I finish this video, the investigation is still ongoing. Families are still grieving. The survivor is still recovering. We don't have all the answers yet, and we might not for months. What we do know is that 241 people started a journey they'll never finish. Their families are living through unimaginable pain, and one person survived to carry their story forward. This tragedy reminds us how precious life really is, how we should never take safe flights for granted, how quickly everything can change. If this video helped you understand this story, please like and share it. Subscribe for more coverage of important stories. And tonight, hug your loved ones a little tighter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.